to Cultivating Harmony. Today I wanted to give you guys a recipe you can use if you are having any type of problem with blood stagnation. Now, you should always talk to your practitioner to find out if you are actually dealing with blood stagnation. However, some of the symptoms of blood stagnation include things like purple or blue lips. Sometimes you can even see it kind of in your nails, in the nail beds, if they're kind of purple or blue. That purple or blue coloring is really an indication that there's some type of stagnation. That's also why we see this color in bruises, right? Some other indications of blood stagnation are also things such as blood clots, menstrual pain, really any type of pain that would be described as a stabbing, kind of dull pain. Any types of lumps, because this type of knotting, if you will, is really an indication that things aren't flowing, right? Because if liquid, if energy, if things are flowing, right, they're never gonna kind of clog up. And I do want to mention, another thing that can cause blood stagnation is actually repressing the emotions. If you are not readily expressing your emotions in a healthy way, then that repression, that kind of pushing down, can cause stagnation in the blood. And this is more prevalent in women because in Chinese medicine, it is kind of said that women are made of mostly blood, as men are actually made mostly of qi, right? And so this is kind of why for qi and men, we see them have a lot of physical strength and energy. And women are more connected to the blood, right? We have our cycles and things like that. So because the emotions are very linked to blood and blood flow, these are things that are primarily stored in the liver in Chinese medicine. And we also know that the liver is actually what kind of pushes or begins the menstrual cycle. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. So I'm making a pudding, and this is a super simple pudding recipe. And you can really change it up depending on your needs, but since we're focusing on blood stagnation today, I will go ahead and share that. So what you want to do is you want to start with milk. And this can be any type of milk. It doesn't have to be necessarily a dairy milk. I'm using soy milk today. You will also need some cornstarch, and the cornstarch is basically what makes the milk kind of congeal or turn into a pudding consistency. And you will need 1 tablespoon of cornstarch for every cup of milk that you're using. So if you want to make 4 cups of pudding, you're going to need 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. If you want to make 6 cups of pudding, you need 6 tablespoons of cornstarch, 8, and so on and so forth. And I do want to mention, my soy milk is already lightly sweetened, so I'm not adding any more sweetener to it. If you would like, I would say for 4 cups, a 1/4 cup of like a maple syrup or some type of sweetener is a good amount. But always, you know, you can taste test it and go off of that. So our blood mover for today is saffron. Now, I tend to save my very high quality, expensive saffron for things like paella and whatnot. However, you are able to get kind of, you know, maybe lower quality and in more bulk size saffron as well. So as I mentioned earlier, you always want to talk to a practitioner and make sure that these are types of herbs or really ingredients in general that you can be adding, because we want to be careful when moving the blood. You know, there's certain times such as pregnancy, right? You don't want to move the blood. If you move the blood, it could possibly cause a miscarriage. Now, is everyone who eats saffron going to have a miscarriage? No, right? There's plenty of cultures that, you know, pregnant women eat food with saffron in it all the time. However, because they are accustomed to it and it's a regular thing in their diet, they may have a higher tolerance level and their blood may be more accustomed to this. So we'll go ahead and get started. You want to put your stove on a medium heat and go ahead and pour in your milk of choice. Once you have that added in, you want to go ahead and add the saffron, because we really want the saffron to sit in there as long as possible and get warmed up. And I'm just going to take a small pinch, you don't need a ton, a few strands of saffron will do the job. So if you are not familiar with saffron, I just wanted to give you a quick look. And so saffron is actually the stamen part of the flower of the crocus. And with it being spring, this is kind of a good time, right, to go ahead and make something like this since they are popping up. You want to go ahead and add in your cornstarch. And like I said, you want to do 1 tablespoon per cup of milk. Start stirring that with a whisk kind of quickly, just so it doesn't lump up at all. And you're actually going to put the timer on for 5 minutes, and it's going to remain over a medium heat. So we'll do that. And you're gonna stand here for 5 minutes. This is the only difficult part, for 5 minutes, and whisk. And honestly, you don't have to really whisk that crazy. You just wanna make sure that the milk isn't scalding on the bottom. What's nice is as you're whisking it, you can really see the saffron beginning to change the color of the pudding. And as you get closer to the 5 minutes, you're gonna start noticing the pudding go from just the liquid milk and it will begin to thicken. One of the things that we want to remember as we're stirring is once the 5 minutes is up, if it looks a little bit thick, it's actually going to thicken even more once it is completely cooled. Go ahead and you can take it off the heat, and we're gonna pour it now into cups or bowls, anything that you want to go ahead and serve it into. So now we just want to leave it out to cool. You can either go ahead and throw it into the refrigerator overnight to cool. Now I'm a little impatient, so even though it's been sitting for a little while, I kind of want to eat it while it's a little bit warm, and just to check it and make sure it tastes good. Oh my gosh, and this is one that I really do. I love the saffron smell. It has such a beautiful golden color. But it's something I will also even eat as like a breakfast since it's not super sweet. But really, I mean, it's a good snack any time of the day. Let me know below in the comments if there are any other conditions you would like to see me make recipes for. And as always, if you guys could like and subscribe to this video, it will be very helpful in getting this content out there. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.